smart country. We're not we're a brilliant country. We're not smart, we're brilliant now. We're gonna be a brilliant country. We have to be, because we have to catch up for some really stupid people that did a bad job. Yes, Brian?
Yes, Mr. President, I've got a quick comment, some feedback.
I want to apologize, y'all.
About bringing my kids to a camp very near.
Really got to stop this for a second. Hold on. I got to apologize to everybody who was on the stream. Listen. I'm going to tell you, AT&T, you're going to owe me some money. Now, what just happened here, the stream just disconnected internet, right? And they've cut me out for some odd reason. This has been happening all weekend since like last Wednesday. I'm watching TV, playing a video game, recording content, whatever. And all of a sudden, the stream will start going and it'll just automatically cut out. And it's not because the stream's bad or the quality, it's the internet. And now I'm really pissed off because we had a nice chunk of people here for a stream. Then the internet just cut out. And that's very unbecoming of this stream. So let me just keep going with President Trump. See where we at. It's very unfortunate. I'm really bothered by it, to be real.
Where he goes, yeah.
Really pissed off because that.
That's right. This was Schumer.
It's unnecessary, man.
Yeah, it's.
I'm literally about to call AT&T and cuss them the hell out.
I have this limited because I hear AOC is going to beat him, and she's no bargain either, by the way. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, that's an example of an America First team effort to get this country back. So that's what America First looks like.
It's like, no, it wasn't you, Lisa. It was literally.
Obama-backed road judge.
It's literally like I upgraded my system like 2 years ago from Xfinity to AT&T Fiber. Great. Good news throughout the house, whatever, right? But this past weekend, listen, Lisa, everything that we started, my sister-in-law was in town, they start watching TV, the TV will pause. I'm sitting here on the internet will cut out. And that's one reason why I streamed as much. I'm like, bro, how can I stream to an audience if my internet goes out? Yeah. I'm calling AT&T, I'm cussing them out. I'm not doing it on the stream for y'all, but hopefully one day I will. But thank y'all for tapping back in. Chris, Lisa, all love and support. Thank you.
Can you recap what that means to national security?
Hey, kids.
To make sure we can grow our own food.
See if everybody trickle back in.
Yes, this morning Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Nome, and Attorney General Bondi and I had a press conference at the USDA. I just happened to have a chart in case it came up, but obviously the Chinese owning of farmland in our country is a massive national security.
I did not know about that.
And for the media, you can see
Hey, Kathy.
yellow is where all of the farms have been purchased.
No, Chris, it was mine.
And the red is around all of the military bases where that farmland.
Hey, Dancing in the Rain, I appreciate you for supporting the channel. Honestly, I appreciate all y'all. Really do.
This morning included 3 of our greatest governors as well, Sarah Sanders from Arkansas, Jim Pillen from Nebraska, and Bill Lee from Tennessee.
Oh, they named Ron DeSantis. Oh, shit.
A leadership role to ban the purchasing of China farmland. Obviously, Congress needs to step up and catch up, and we're going to be working alongside of them as well. We have some of our members.
That's Christy, know I'm talking, y'all.
But it is time, and I think that this morning was symbolic of many things. The first of this administration.
Hey, Chris, I hope so. If they listen to me.
Trump's leadership and unequivocal support of America First. But second, just how close we are as a cabinet. I don't know in any other administration that you'd have 4 cabinet members at the USDA on a Tuesday morning when it's about 110 degrees outside with the sun beating down on us talking about, sir, your vision. So I think it was a great day. It was just the start. There's an executive order coming and some other things.
Probably hear an echo because my
protecting America's farms isn't just
my speaker's too loud. I mic picking it up.
It's also about national security.
So I'll cut Chrissy down a little bit. My bad on that,
I
y'all.
want to say that I think we have had a really good relationship with China lately, and we're getting along with them very well. They've been very fair on our trade.
Hey, kids, tapping in from Zurich. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate that, man.
Powerful country. We're more powerful than they are. We have much better military equipment than they do, but we are getting along with them very well. I'm getting along with President Xi very well. We speak often. And
my bad, y'all. My bad. I forgot for my vertical people. Hey, Helen.
I think we're getting along with China very well.
More weapons to Ukraine, as you said last night. Last week, the Pentagon paused some shipments of weapons to Ukraine. Did you approve of that pause?
We wanted to put defensive weapons because Putin is not, he's not treating human beings right. He's killing too many people. So we're sending some defensive weapons to Ukraine, and I've approved that.
So who are the
Wait a minute now. I thought Trump could handle Putin. Respectfully, chat, to all my people, I thought Trump could handle Putin. I thought this deal would be done. When he went off on Zelensky, when JD Vance went off on Zelensky and that shit turned up in the White House 4 months ago, I thought this would be a dead issue by now, right? Now to realize that Putin is exactly who Zelensky said he was, which is wild to me. So now we got to send troops, money, guns, resources back to Ukraine. Isn't this exactly what the people said they didn't want Kamala Harris to do as president? Come on now. Remember we said that she didn't have the experience. Trump is a deal maker. He can get the job done. I'm not saying she was the right person, the right pick, because guess what? Yeah, they already lambasted me for that shit before. I'm not going there. I'm not going down that again. But what I am saying is, we talked about all the money and guns and resources we sent to Ukraine for years. Biden did this. Biden's war. Now Trump has to finish Biden's war, and he's doing the same exact thing, sending support to Ukraine, because guess what? We can't afford for Ukraine to be taken over, man. What are we talking about? Is this what you voted for? Number one question I always ask the people on this stream, Lisa, and you know it, is this what the people voted for? I didn't vote for this. I want my fertilizer and price of everything to come down. I didn't vote for this. I'll tell you that now.
the pause last week?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me?
Oh, gangster.
That's the question.
Go ahead.
Mr.
Yeah.
President, on immigration, the Secretary of Agriculture did say this morning that undocumented workers would not be covered by any amnesty from working on farms. You had said maybe that
Donnell, what do you mean the group you following, bro?
folks on farms.
Explain that to me.
There's no amnesty. What we're doing is we're getting rid of criminals, but we are doing a work program. Do you want to explain that, please?
Yeah, this morning, we talked about, of course, this was a top of mind question. This morning, we talked about protecting the farmers and the farmland.
Come on,
Obviously,
Chris.
the President's vision of no amnesty, mass deportation continues, but in a strategic way, and then ensuring that our farmers.
Dancing in the rain, I feel you.
Secretary Chavez DeRimmer has been a leader on this.
I'll just mute Kirsty for a moment. Dancing in the rain said did some lobbying advocacy work in Sacramento for state legislation. Talking to legislators, eye opener made me a bit cynical, to be honest. I get you, trust me. I've been doing it 15 years. And that's why I really get tired of black opportunist politicians, one, who only want to fear factor and stoke fears and not pass any damn legislation or actually impact people. And then Republicans who only want to stoke fear, and people is like, oh, Christian conservative values, they're going against the founding members. You know, yeah, slavery was a thing back then, but I don't think everything Republicans do are racist. I don't think everything Democrats do are for the people, right? Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever. I think that they're all self-serving, because to me, collectively, respectfully, I'm a lobbyist who's able to move government respectfully in my silos. Government affairs, criminal justice, education, mentorship, elderly survivors, tech. You know what I'm saying? That ends up being a little bit of my wheelhouse. But I at least understand what's happening. A lot of people don't understand what's happening. And I think that's the biggest thing, is we just take this narrative and we go along with the nonsense back and forth, which is what I hate. I wish a lot of us would be more involved, because we would be able to call out the bullshit for what it is, right? I would rather help educate folks and enlighten folks rather than beat people up and say, hey, they're going to come take your home and you're going to go back to Jim Crow and all this. And fuck all that, man. I ain't worried about that. What I'm worried about is, how do I protect my family? How can I leave whatever I'm through God's given time? When I leave this earth, how can I make sure that my son's life, my wife's life is better? That's it. How can I give more than what I had? Change, break generational curses. That's what I'm on. Fuck everything else.
We will ever see really in this country right now.
Personal. That's not personal.
No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. That matters to the American worker, because we don't want to take their money and give it back. We want them to keep more of their hard-earned dollars in their pockets currently, and that's what they're excited about. And as I move forward with those tariff talks, I heard a company, orthopedic company in Indiana, say to me, for the first time since you have taken office, Mr. President, their increase in their bottom line by 8%.
Come on, man.
Not one company has said.
Dancing in the rain. Hey, listen, I don't want to pause the cabinet meeting no more. But you said a word right here. Hold on. I got to go back. Can I highlight this? Dancing in the rain. My silo was mental health, and some legislators didn't even know the difference between psychiatrists and psychologists. Scary. Yes, you have to understand. People get elected to serve. They don't get elected because they're the most knowledgeable. Think about that. They get elected to serve. They don't get elected because they're the most knowledgeable. Most people who are elected don't even understand the shit that goes on in their state before they even put their hand on the Bible to get sworn in. Respect it, right? But when they get there, it's a learning process. It probably takes 6 years to actually learn the entire process, whether you're at local, state, or federal level, respectfully. So they're coming in wanting to change something, and then they realize how the system works, and like, wait a minute, this is how it goes, and they end up learning more because guess what? They never grew up wanting to be a politician. They just realized, like, hey, my ego's big enough, I done serve big enough, maybe I can go be elected. Maybe I can serve people in this area, and then I can just use my power to make influence and change. And they realize that they have no real power. Your temporary power because the voters decide. Then they realize, like, you know what? I got to just hold on to this. And they never really learn the issues that you come to lobby and care about. They only know the party partisan talking points. That would have been so fire if I could just say that without stuttering.
These
No lie.
dialogues are working. They're feeling it on the ground. The media has told a false story because what's happening on the ground is positive, and that's what we're seeing in these jobs numbers. So I really, through the Department of Labor, to come in behind.
Hey, thank you. I don't know who Ghost Pepper is. None of my mods here.
Key to the American worker. So thank you for what.
I guess I got to mod my own channel. It's all right. I got you. Hold on, y'all.
One big beautiful bill is a doubling down of this, and we're going to see these workers start to grow. And that apprenticeship program.
Ghost Pepper.
That's
We'll
right.
have that
It's gonna
million
be-
apprentices across the
We-
country.
Let's stop spamming in the chat, my man.
You know, we're building plants all over the country now, which you weren't building any plants 4 years ago. You weren't building anything. But
Thank you.
those plants, when they open up, it's going to be, you'll see numbers like you haven't seen ever. I don't think in history you'll never see numbers like what we're going to see in the very near future. Many of them are building the plants. Some are just starting right now. You know, it's a brand new administration. But, and they wouldn't be here except for two things. November 5th, the election, and the tariffs.
They got Chitwood out of wait. I didn't know they got Chitwood out of Volusia.
Another,
Chitwood wasn't he in Volusia? Wasn't he the one who was like making the kids do the perk walk for threatening kids? Like they would threaten, like in Florida, they don't play with these kids and threatening schools, blowing up schools, none of that nonsense, right? We're not playing that in Florida. I think Chitwood was a sheriff. If he's the next director of ICE, he was the sheriff who basically said, listen, if your child threatens a school, we're gonna make them do a perp walk. And they were making kids do a perp walk in the prison. If that's the guy for ICE, like, listen, man, ICE about to step up. I'm not even talking about the 10,000 new troops, ICE officers, to go after the 600,000 supposed criminal illegal migrants here in the country. What I'm saying is, Chitwood about that life.
person wouldn't have done this. But they're coming in because of the tariffs. They have to, they're not going to pay 25, 30, 40, 50%, 70 and 100%. And we'll be announcing something very soon on pharmaceuticals. We're going to give people about a year and a half to come in, and after that they're going to be tariffed if they have to bring the pharmaceuticals into the country, the drugs and other things into the country. They're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%. We'll give them a certain period of time to get their act together. But they were all here, now they all left. They went to other places because we allowed, people that sat in this room allowed it to happen. And I don't allow it to happen. The people in this room don't allow it to happen. So we're going to be announcing pharmaceuticals, chips.
My bad, y'all.
And there's a couple of.
Hey, Jahard.
As you know, they're 50%. We did
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
50%.
James Earl Jones-esque. Thank you.
And we did cars. And now today.
That's a
we're doing
major
copper.
compliment.
What would that tariff be?
Hey, Mickey.
I believe the tariff on copper, we're going to make it 50%. 50%.
Any breakthroughs
So
in
I'm
law?
glad he didn't question it, 'cause, he agreed with me. That's why.
Alfonso.
Any breakthroughs
Oh, he said rat.
Prime Minister, and there's reports that you're meeting with Netanyahu again tonight.
Yeah, I am. He's going to come over again tonight. We're talking about Gaza, or mostly Gaza right now. It's he's been very unfairly treated. I think what they've done to him in Israel is very unfair, having to do with this trial. I think, he's a wartime prime minister, had an unbelievable outcome, and I think he's been treated very unfairly. But he's coming over.
Hey, thanks, Raymond. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate y'all, man.
Exclusively Gaza. We got to get that solved. Gaza is a tragedy.
Damn, ground beef went up like that?
Tragedy. It's a tragedy. And he wants to get it solved, and I want to get it solved, and I think the other side wants to get it solved. Steve, could you talk on that, please?
We're in
I don't want to hear from Steve right now. I want to read through some of this chat. Who just said that? Yeah, Chris, I think a little bit of that with the price of ground beef going up, it could be 4th of July. Like, you know, like for my time working in retail, customer service, like I haven't always been in politics, been in customer service since I was 13. I want to say maybe that markup could be like marginal profits because we know people are going to buy ground beef. They're going to make it. So not necessarily, I wouldn't say that. I have a Costco membership. I also have a Sam's membership. Let me turn my volume down. I think I'm yelling a bit too much. Listen, I'm going there spending at least $300-400. But the same $300 I had like last year, no lie, wasn't 2024 $300 was not the same $300 from 2023, right? Because I can get a lot more. And pandemic $300 was totally different because gas was $1.79 for real. But nobody was on the roads. Everything was shut down. Outside was closed. But to the main point, I think groceries are right where they were maybe last year. Y'all confused thinking he has dementia. No, I don't think he has dementia. I think Trump just old. Trump is like from a generation where they got to tell you, like your granddaddy and your great granddaddy, whatever, they got to tell you the same story 5-10 times. Or even if you have a wife, right? If you're married, you're going to hear the same story 3-4 times, right? I think that's what Trump's going through. He's married. He told the story to Ivanka, to Melania, to Don Jr., to Eric. He told it to the American people. He may forget who all he's told it to, so he regurgitates it. But then again, I don't want to hear this all the time. Y'all are hilarious in this chat every time. Where are the Epstein files? Hey, Zach. Hey, 777 blessings. Epstein, let's say it ain't coming out. They say it's not coming out, y'all. Let me get back to Trump.
The Green New scam. Billions of dollars rescinded. It's a big deal for the American taxpayer who...
Is that Tulsi Gabbard right there? You think she's going to talk about Iran?
That are, filled with...
Hey, Robert, thank you for tapping in on TikTok.
They see unqualified recipients. They see reduced agency oversight. And they want accountability with their tax dollars. And they got it. In the example of the Stacey Abrams connected NGO, they received $100 in 2023. They got $2 billion in 2024. They had to complete training on how to develop a budget that was put into their grant agreement. $50,000 out of nowhere. This is tax dollars. So money go through pastors, through other pastors, through other pastors, and we lose oversight over it. And you see that it's going to former Biden officials, it's going to former Obama officials, it's going to Democratic donors. And we're not here saying we want to take money from a left-wing NGO and give it to a right-wing NGO. We want to give it back to the taxpayer. This is about us being good stewards of American tax dollars without any apology.
I'm not going to sit here and hold you. I'm not opposed to this because this is exactly what the hell happens. Hey, Dominique, right? I have friends who used to work in the Obama White House, the Biden White House, even the Trump White House. Friends all over. I'm bipartisan, not bisexual. Remember that, right? And what happens is exactly what he's saying really does happen. You have these people who basically work inside and they know they have a nonprofit, they have another organization, and they funnel this money. And it doesn't just happen. Check this out. It doesn't just happen with your taxpayer money. It happens with campaign money too, right? If they started going through with the fine tooth comb, the FEC and these state legislatures and these PAC can run a campaign for us in Georgia. It doesn't just happen with Democrats, it happens with Republicans. This is politics. Your tax money is enriching somebody else in this process who's like, listen, hey, it's my time to eat. So let's not act as if, I'm not going to act as if this is so far-fetched and it's so false. Like, oh, they're going after Stacey Abrams. They only highlighted Stacey Abrams. There's plenty of Democrats, right? And this is the problem. Real shit with Democrats. And I'm going to say it, fuck it, right? Like Raphael Warnock, his people, Meredith Lilly, right? She was running, his chief of staff, she was running all of Georgia. But she had a crook on her team, Eureka Cornelius, fat-nosed Fraggle Rock looking motherfucker, right? Who basically was taking all the money the Democrats had to spend in Georgia. They basically pocketed the fucking money, right? No bullshit. It is what it is. So the part of it is the Democratic problem is having these fake ass consultants. And mind you, she got disbarred in Texas, the same Texas that got flooded. Eureka Cornelius, Google her, right? I'm going to say the real. Fuck it. You have motherfuckers around here who capitalize in. I was about to say coons. I can't say that. I can't say the B word either. You have these scammers in the Democratic Party who hold positions of power. They already making six figures and say, you know what? I need an extra six just off the campaign tip. I need an extra six figures, not $6,000, six figures off the, and I don't care if Kamala Harris wins or loses. I don't care if a Democrat wins or loses. I don't care if Stacey Abrams fucking wins or loses because Warnock ain't on the fucking ballot. She don't give a fuck. I'm telling you the real. Google these motherfuckers if you don't believe it, right? And I'm trying to tell you the fact of you have people in the democratic process who are profiting off your fucking pain. And the issue is, if they're not living through their political action committee, or they're not living through everything else, they're living off your fucking fear. And the fear they're putting in your heart to say, you know what, yeah, you need to fear Trump, you need to fear Project 2025, while Meredith homegirl, Eureka Cornelius, was stealing Kamala Harris money in Georgia the whole time. So how did she lose Georgia? Why didn't Democrats show up in Georgia like they did other places? Why didn't? Because we had these damn thieves, these scammers. Democrats are the main ones who be scamming. And guess what? I remember a couple years ago, we're doing some voter outreach in a couple states, about 5 states, right? In one of the states, the young lady said, yeah, we're going to have strippers on the party bus, and we're going to pick people up on the party bus, and we're going to have the strippers on the party bus shaking ass and then taking people to the polls to basically go vote. And I say, well, damn, isn't that shit illegal? This is the coon shit Democrats be doing. And then they want to get mad and ask for a refund when my people don't want to sign up for that bullshit. Or like the Democratic National Convention one time say, hey, yeah, Trump is having a rally in Nevada. Can you send your people out here? Why the fuck would I send my people to a Klan's rally? What the fuck are you talking about? Right? Because it's inside internal politics. It's internal profiting. No lie, I had a Democratic consultant working for Kamala Harris. We're working out a deal. And my dog said straight up, man, how much of this can you cut me in at? Like, bro, I got business. This is business. Yes, I want to give you a percentage, but you're I'm saying realistically, the reason Democrats are in the fucking problem and the issue they at right now is all self-inflicted wounds. These scammers inside the Democratic Party who doing the same shit the Republicans do, but guess what? The Republicans winning. New tax plan, new one big beautiful bill. The Republicans winning. What the fuck are you Democrats talking about? Transports? Look at Hakeem Jeffries. They call this man the Timu Obama. It's sickening out here in these streets. It's sickening out here because you got Bernie Sanders right here talking about living wage. AOC supposed to be number one to run for president. You can't even tell me what the fuck a living wage is. But you motherfuckers want to run. They talking about her name was Sandy and shit. I ain't worried about Sandy. What I'm talking about is respectfully. Get these scammers about the Democratic Party, Meredith and Eureka Cornelius. Get these scammers about the party, man. When they start scamming you, expose these hoes. Oh, shit.
Thank you.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
He's done
Hey, Sal.
very unfairly treated. I think what they've done to him in Israel is very unfair, having to do with this trial. I think, he's a wartime prime minister, had an unbelievable outcome. And I think
Hey, Bugsy, appreciate you tapping in. I'm not mad for no reason. I'm passionate, baby.
Talking about, I would say, almost exclusively Gaza. We got to get that solved. Gaza is a tragic. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And he wants to get it.
Yeah, I got to cut my nails, dog, and I lost my fingernail clip, bro. My bad on that.
Steve, could you talk?
I got you, man.
We're in proximity talks now.
I was watching the slightest of shits.
And now we're down to 1 after 2 days of proximity talks. So we are hopeful that by the end of this week, we will have
Very true,
an agreement
Chris.
that will bring us into a 60-day ceasefire. 10 live hostages will be released. 9 deceased will be released. We're meeting at the president's...
Eli, hold on. I'm selling? How, bro? I'm a whole lobbyist in this shit, bro. I'm a whole lobbyist in this process. What am I selling? I'm selling facts. Guess what? I sell niggas to get elected in the Congress. I done sold niggas to get elected in state legislatures and mayor's office. I done sold out to change you even talking about. I hate when the motherfucker that's kind of broke get a real job. I am the real job. People call me and pay me for my knowledge, motherfucker. Did you think that I'm selling some shit? that the White House didn't call me to get done in Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, fucking every other state they lost, and they waited till the last damn minute to do it, and I realized I had fucking scammers I'm working with in all these fucking states? So be mad at me for exposing the facts. Guess what I got for you? I bet, no bullshit, I could run every damn Kamala Harris commercial ad on this stream right now. You ain't never seen them before. Because guess what? I was in the fucking trenches. And I was sitting here cussing their ass out like, listen, you may not pay the rest of these motherfucking vendors, but you bitch ass niggas gonna pay me. Because I'm working 7 states from my home and getting you all the outreach you need, and y'all waited till the very last minute. I'm giving you the real almost a year after the fact. So kiss my ass, bro. Make sure y'all like and subscribe for more.
Families to let them know, and we think that this will lead to a lasting peace.
Bragging or complaining, I'm not doing neither. I'm not bragging or complaining. I'm giving the facts. So take it how you want it, man.
Hate, you know, this is called long-term hate, but we think we're going to have it solved pretty soon. Hopefully, with a real solution, a solution that's going to be holding up.
And can I follow up? This is, I think, the first cabinet meeting since Elon Musk has not been a special government employee, not here anymore. He's now saying he's going to create.
I appreciate the sub O's.
Are you worried about the impact that could have? I'm guessing any of the cuts.
Eli for the shit.
No. Look, we cut hundreds of billions of dollars with.
I think you gotta check the haters sometimes. Yeah, I ain't gotta give them time. I gotta check their ass sometimes.
It was something that we saved a lot of money. You can always second guess. I guess some of the people in this room maybe would have done it slightly differently, and some would have done it exactly the way it was done. But it was dramatic and it was important, and we found a lot of things like
Appreciate you, LT.
given to people for environmental protection, where they had 15 billion, and Lee, you might want to mention just a couple of those things we really got because of those.
At the Trump EPA, the one big beautiful bill was filled with many big beautiful wins for the taxpayer. It delivered a sledgehammer to the Green New scam. Billions of dollars rescinded. So it's a big deal for the American taxpayer who sees money go through pass-throughs.
Hey, LT, you right.
Dealing in conflicts of interest. They see unqualified recipients. They see reduced agency oversight.
Got about 30 minutes left here, y'all. If y'all want to tap in that long, I appreciate you're absolutely right. Can't give the haters. I kind of learned that, right? I said it before on another stream. My mom used to cut my hair when I was a kid. I used to get on the bus like 6 in the morning going to school. And every wave was people getting on the bus. He'd be like, Super Bowl. They used to cracking jokes. 6:30 in the morning. We didn't get to school till like 7:30, 8 o'clock, right? Cool. So every day I had to get joked on. So I'm not to a point of hearing something and it's trauma, seeing something that I just don't clap back to. But I do realize exactly what you're saying, my man, because guess what? They're taking their time and they stop on their YouTube shorts and stop on this stream and say, hey, let me make an example. I'm gonna watch my damn stream, my damn self. Hold on, y'all, since we're here. Let me unmute Buddy while I get this together.
And we're not here saying we want to take money from a left-wing NGO and give it to a right-wing NGO. We want to give it back to the taxpayer.
Right, that's what we're earlier.
This is about us being good stewards of American tax dollars without any apology or regret. That's why President Trump was elected last November. Because there were a whole lot of people who maybe they hadn't voted Republican in a long time.
Forever.
They didn't even vote for President Trump the first time around in 2016.
So yeah, the haters come in and they say like, damn, this guy's full of shit. He's a coon, he's a clown. What was this guy talking supporting Trump? I'm not supporting Trump. I'm just being real. And if you say anything that's in the middle that chastises Democrats and praises Republicans, or chastises Republicans and praises Democrats, all of a sudden the other side's upset. Fuck them. But guess what? You taking the time when you was scrolling your YouTube shorts to say, hey, who is this guy in the blue hoodie talking politics? Fuck him, I don't know him. He's not Roland Martin. He's not Jamal Bryant. He's not one of these top black coons who talks politics. And guess what? The niggas that you listen to ain't never did what I did. So I have a right to say what I got to say, but you're right. I shouldn't have to sit here and address the haters, but I do, because you're taking the time out to spend time with me. But I believe in y'all for supporting me. I believe in y'all for supporting me. Yeah, make it make sense. I believe in y'all for supporting me, because guess what? I believe in y'all too.
Fix the mess that we inherited. But gosh, we love showing up at our
Paying
jobs
for it, baby. You know it.
every single day, first thing in the morning, because all day long we get things done for the American taxpayer. And Congress did its part last week by passing one big beautiful bill to deliver this accountability and to cut off the Green New scam. So maybe it's a bad day for Stacey Abrams. Maybe it's a bad day for all those well-connected Democrats getting paid off But you know what? God bless America. Because at the end of the day, President Trump is here, JD Vance is here, and the greatest cabinet ever assembled to deliver that.
Hey, boss, Ice, Alice Trump, I hear you. Thank you for tapping into the stream, my brother.
That was a very good answer. And that's from the heart. That's from the heart.
Mr. President, the Ukrainians have asked the International Court to go after Russia for using toxic chemicals in the fight. Germany and Germany and the Netherlands have had intelligence saying that. What does U.S. intelligence believe, and what do you believe about the use of chemical weapons? And would you agree that that's a case for the court?
Well, I'd ask John maybe to discuss it if you'd like, John.
Well, Mr. President, obviously chemical weapons, if it's documented and its use, it's illegal. It's against all international.
Big Al in the house, former representative.
Treaties and.
Hold on, gotta pause this, mute this for a second. They ain't talking about, hey, Big Al Jaquette, former state representative, big homie. We need to get you on the show, man. I don't know if the Al Jaquette show's still popping, but guess what? If we get you on the show, I know we're gonna talk real, because you know exactly what the Democrats be doing. You've been on the floor. I know you passed legislation. You've been in the process, and you a real one. So Al, I'd love to get you on here, because you know, as a former elected, I know you see the problems that's happening here in the state of Florida and across with Democrats and Republicans and black culture across the board, especially our minority communities that happen to be Caribbean or migrants, right? So Al Jaquette, make sure y'all look into my dog, follow him online, Twitter, all that other good stuff. Good people, man.
Years ago, we were going to do it, and then the election precluded that, unfortunately, but we're doing it now. Could you tell them where we are?
Yeah, if I could start with Newark. You guys all covered what happened in Newark. We had outages for a couple of 30-second outages a couple months ago. We have, in 2 months, Mr. President, it's historic speed, laid new fiber lines for communication and tested those in the next month. So those new lines for June ever in the history of Newark for air travel. So that's going incredibly well. By the way, we shouldn't have dealt with this because Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg had moved the center from New York to Philadelphia. They didn't test the lines. They didn't do the work, which is what brought us all these problems. But in the big beautiful bill, we got $12.5 billion. This is a historic investment in air traffic control. And so what the money is going to allow us to do is move from copper to fiber all over the country. So new copper lines. We think we can do that in a year and a half to 2 years.
Not bad, y'all.
We have radar that dates back to the 1950s, some of it from the 60s and 70s. We get brand new radar across the country as well. We have some infrastructure money to build TRACONs and centers, the en route centers that control the traffic across the country. So this is a massive new start to rebuild air traffic control. And again, this is dilapidated. Americans think that their government takes care of them and makes the investments that are necessary to make the country work. And for 30, 40 years, the investments weren't made. And so under your leadership and direction, we are making those investments. And per your direction, right now we are interviewing what we could call a general contractor or an integrator. One company to manage. It's a massive project. The FAA is not qualified to manage this kind of a project. So we are now
the government can't do it.
Finding who that one company will be to manage the whole project. We'll interview those companies together and make that selection. So we'll write one big beautiful check to one beautiful company that'll be responsible for this this whole build. But if I just make one last point, this is not enough money. We're going to need more. But this is a massive new start. The biggest investment. We'll need some more money on top of it, but a great start from the big beautiful.
It's a starter. It was very important to us, and just to cover that, there have been accidents, and my pilots, I would often hear them say, "Oh, good," and they would use a different system, a different country to land in New York. They'd use the radar and other things from a different country. I said, "What's that?" He said, "Oh, our system is so bad," and I knew that we were all set to start, and Buttigieg came in, and what they did was so crazy because they hooked in copper into fiber, into steel, they had all different systems. They had hundreds and hundreds of contractors, different contractors for different airports. They spent billions of dollars, and they made the system worse because you can't hook copper into fiber. It doesn't work that way. You just can't do it. It's not doable, but they tried to do it. Didn't work out too well. And in the end, it was just a complete disaster. We want to have one great company. Now, Raytheon's going to bid, IBM's going to bid. We have 5 or 6 bidders that really are good and do this stuff. We want one, I tell, because I know about overruns, I look at the railroad out in California, headed up by one of the worst governors in our country.
Why is it always an attack on California and Gavin Newsom or Newsom? I get it. Like, I just don't understand it. After a while, it's like, bruh, it's only Illinois, New York. Can't attack DeSantis no more because they homies now. I just wish it just wasn't California.
Contract.
After a while, it's over now.
Whether it's IBM or Raytheon is good, but you have 4 or 5 that are really, really great, and they're all bidding against each other. But you don't want to have one doing the wire and one doing the digging and one doing the demolition and then they're all saying they all blame each other because they're saying they were late and therefore you have to pay me millions of dollars more money. I know the system so well, and we're going to have a great company do the whole thing. We're going to get a fantastic price. Maybe we'll get them. They're very big and very strong, and maybe we'll get them to make a contribution toward getting it done at the right price. But we're going to have a great system. When we finish, we will have the best system on earth, done by one of the 2 or 3 best companies. There are only a few companies can do this.
I won't hold you. Have about 27 minutes here left, and we've been here for most of this stream, even when we cut off the internet and we went back to it, right? But one thing I want to segment to, and it's gonna be a horrible transition. I know y'all love and hate my transitions. Damn, I didn't even know he wasn't on screen for my vertical folks. My bad, y'all. My bad. You know, actually, let me. I'm gonna give y'all more Donnie time, since I didn't correct him. I'll be respectful to the president. I'm gonna give him 2 minutes here. Then we're gonna go into the big beautiful bill, right? I want to review before we wrap up this stream, because I got some work to do. I want to go through the parts of the Green New Deal that were repealed and how it could impact you and your pockets, your benefits. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cue that up. Give me about 2 minutes. I'm gonna have the president keep going. Hopefully it doesn't go off on a tangent from here. I don't know if he said anything about Elon, but we'll see what happens there. But then from there, we're gonna go into the Green New Deal and break down what was taken out of the Green New Deal, or in the one big beautiful bill, what was in the Green New Deal that was taken out, and kind of give you some tangible legislation and tangible things that you could walk through to say, hey, you know what, this would actually make more sense to me. So let's finish here. I'm gonna give 2 minutes again to the president. Then we're gonna switch over to the big beautiful bill. More than anything, I appreciate everybody who's liked, subscribed, tapped into the channel today. Really do appreciate y'all more than anything. Thank you. Thank you. So let's do here. We'll get into the big beautiful bill. We'll wrap up before my 3 o'clock. Hopefully, we'll see.
This is not. But if you would have seen what this other group did, they were going crazy. They had, I heard 3,000 contractors, and then when it all came together, guess what? It didn't work. It's a disaster. So we're going to have in a pretty short period of time. So it'll take us about 2 years to build it, and we'll have a contract given out probably over the next couple of months. We have some great bidders, some great companies that want to do the job. You're going to have great air traffic control.
Can I just make one last point of this? So the last administration signed a contract with an American company to fix.
Thomas Sowell, I like Sowell's book sometimes. Hey, Jean Pierre.
The contract was a 15-year contract. The system is failing today, but that's how idiotic and incompetent the last administration was. And under your leadership, we're saying, listen, we don't have time. We don't have 15 years. We don't have 5 years. We have to do it right now.
Hey, Glenn.
The president always talks about on time and on budget. We have embraced that. We are going to be on time and on budget. And by the way, you mentioned a train out in California. Stay tuned for probably give us 5 days and you'll have an answer on what's going to happen with the $4 billion that we potentially have invested on a train that's going to go nowhere. It's going to be $120 billion that'll never connect San Francisco to LA. Again, the last administration wasted so much money on projects that never work. If you're going to have high-speed rail, you're going to invest billions, we should actually have high-speed rail in America, not boondoggles that fund political friends and allies and family.
They have from San Francisco, inside of San Francisco to inside of Los Angeles. Should have never been built because airplanes do it better. And you could drive it. You could drive it. No problem with driving it. The roads aren't even crowded. So they were going to do this. Somebody's idea. Somebody got paid off a lot of money, and they started it. It was going to cost
no longer than 2 minutes here.
Money. and it ended up costing literally hundreds of times what the original. And now what they did is they said, well, going into the city is too big a deal, so we'll leave it 25 miles short of the city. So now they're leaving it. They're not going to finish it really. It's not the same project. So now they're leaving it outside of San Francisco and outside, short of each. They just want to get it done, and it's. I've never seen cost overruns. You know, if you have a cost overrun of 10%, you should be ashamed of yourself. 20%, you should not do any more jobs. This is a cost overrun of 2,000%, something like that. It's unlimited, and it's not finished. And maybe it will never get finished. And I told Sean to look at it from every standpoint, but we don't want to, you know, we have federal money going into that, and it's like throwing it out the window. So whatever you can do to stop it.
$15 billion and not one track has been laid. $15 billion and we're 16 years into the project, not one track.
Mr. President,
I'm gonna stop it there. Like I said, I think we've had enough, and I was really hoping for some Elon stuff to pop off, and it didn't. Let me straighten this up for y'all real quick. Technical difficulties while I got to get this amendment together. This is 870 pages of Trump's one big beautiful bill. Now, one thing I like to say, after working in politics for 15 years, well, 15 years this year. No, it is what it is. I'm trying to straighten this out for my people on the stream. Hold on. There's a way to do this in OBS. I haven't learned it yet, clearly, as y'all see, right? But we're gonna get there, y'all. Hold on, let me zoom it out so everybody can read. Because what I want to do here is go through some of the language in the big beautiful bill, so we can be on the same page collectively. And what I want to focus on, because this is 870 pages. Let me straighten it out here. Hold on one second, y'all. Because I have people on Twitch that are watching as well, so I want to make sure that it's. Normally, I only do the vertical stream on YouTube, but I'm trying to, you know, diversify, stretch out, you know, tap into other areas. Pause. But as my people can see here, it's 870 pages. Do you have time to read 870 pages? I'm quite sure. I'm telling you now, there are elected officials who don't read 870 pages. I'm not just saying for my Florida people. I'm talking about people in general, right? I know a lot of that your bill. Now, a lot of people haven't gone through it. What I want to focus on today in the big, beautiful bill are the Green New Deal. Everything that was removed from this bill regarding the Green New Deal. So what I'm gonna do is a quick search. Green New Deal. Guess what? Here's where it's at. The ending the Green New Deal, spending, promoting America First Energy, and other reforms. Now, the biggest thing to me is I always tell folks, it's either in the statute or the staff analysis. I'm not doing a staff analysis for 870 pages. I'm gonna throw it in GPT. That's how I'm gonna help, honestly, perplexity. That's how I'm gonna get here, right? But these are the sections. Section 7501 through section 7515, as you see, essentially all the termination of the Green New Deal subsidies. But what were in these subsidies? Because a lot of them, I would say, sound great, but it was more a fact of, okay, what will people actually qualify for? So as we see, section 7501, well, that's where we're gonna start at, right? And you can take notes if you want to, but this is clearly how laws get written. This is how the entire legislative process actually happens in itself. So in this section, for this 30 minutes or an hour that we'll go through this, we'll go through the Green New Deal and exactly what got eliminated. And what I plan on doing respectfully is doing this for my streamers and my content creators that are getting tips, and also my service workers. And no tax on overtime, no tax on tips. I want to do something that actually explains the Medicare and Medicaid cuts, so that whether you're in Houston, whether you're in Tennessee, whether you're in California, Joshua Tree, whether you're in New York, Arkansas, wherever, because we have a lot of people here on the stream today, that you can kind of understand what's out there. Now, if you want to, respectfully, if you want to send me your demographics, your profile, I'm not saying send me your income or whatever. Just say, hey, I'm a female in Hawaii, 27 years old, college graduate, and your profession, right? If you want to put that in the mentions, if you want to DM it, email it to me, whatever it may be, I'll create a profile for you. I'll probably do 10 of these and say, you know what, out of these 10 profiles, what's in the big, beautiful bill for me? I think that's the biggest thing. So what I'm focused on now is the Green New Deal for my EV charging folks. So what we're going to do is go through the statutes. This moves the deadline from December 31st, 2032 to September 30th, 2025. So we really only have a couple more months for the subsidy to go into effect, right? But let me pull up my notes here. I should have just pulled my notes out to the side before the fact. So what does 7501 actually do? Now, if you purchase an EV, you could claim this tax credit up to $4,000, right? Or 30% of the vehicle's actual price, whatever is less. Now, if you had a Chevy Bolt EV, a 2023 Chevy Bolt EV, you could take basically $4,000 off your write-off. You're buying that car. That was your tax credit. That was 7501. So basically, up until September 30th of this year, this will be repealed. Now, the percentage of people taking advantage of that, EVs represent, respectfully, 17%. Oh, 2023 used electric vehicles, represented 17% of the EV sales market. So if you had a used EV, basically it was saying, all right, cool, but I don't think 17% of the entire EV market is enough to give somebody a $4,000 tax credit. That's what the Republicans said, right? So who does this hurt? All right, this hurts lower and middle class buyers who rely on the used market for affordable EVs, right? I think that there's a greater need, a greater push to not force electric vehicles on us. I think California tried to push it, and this is more them pushing back. Now, the used car dealership, this EV mandate and this tax credit isn't helping us move any of these cars. We need to get them off our damn lot. Let's get them up out of here. So that's what they did. They terminated previously owned clean vehicle tax credit, which is good, but also the termination of the clean vehicle tax credit, which is 7502. And as you see here, it's a simple fix. Like when people talk about legislation, sometimes when we talk about lawmaking and its entire process, it's not what you think it is. Sometimes it's not some drawn out super paragraph stuff. Sometimes it's a simple technical change saying, hey, we're going to bump this up from this tax credit ending in 2032 to the tax credit ending September 2025. Now, here's the reason for this, and this is political, right? My 2 cents. A lot of times with these EV tax credits, they'll be in place temporarily, hoping that we still have leadership in 2030 to make these permanent, right? So eventually, even though we're supporting, and this is the shapeshift to the shit, right? We go Democrat, we go pass a EV mandate for used cars, new cars, and they make it very advantageous to say, hey, you're getting a tax credit for this, right? You would think that it's permanent when it's really temporary. So you have this car, you buy it in 2025, January, using tax credit, you're thinking it's gonna go on forever. Now, should your car go from 2025 to 2032, 7-year lifespan of a car, that depends on you and your EV model maker. However, these were never permanent. So because these had the expiration of the 2032 here, for both of these used and regular vehicles, I guess, it always opened up the lane of being repealed or having to be basically codified. It's politics, right? So this basically takes it out, the 70, all these sections essentially, so there will be no codifying. It'll essentially be your tax credit ends before October 1st this year. So get used to that. But 7502, this is for buyers of new electric vehicles, and they had up to a $7,500 tax credit. Now, you don't see that in here, right? You don't see it in here because it's basically like, okay, cool, conforming amendments. This is amendment to say, bomb clause 3, inserting and after the comma, and after this, and after that. What happened? So you read all of this, and it's not saying anything about the 7,500. It's not saying exactly what the tax credit did, but it's the statutes. And the statutes, again, in the sections, they relate to basically get to a point. So here's where we go. And I don't know if it'll be helpful to actually show what I'm showing to the side, but I'm going to read it off for now. But essentially, this section is section 7502. This is for your Tesla Model 3 drivers and your Ford F-150 drivers who have the Lightning or any EV. You probably most likely took out the full credit, the whole $7,500. Realistically, as I'm reading through, 80% of the EV sales were eligible for this tax credit. Cool. But car buyers, they probably weren't taking advantage of it like they needed to. Or EVs weren't selling like they needed to, right? The credit is now limited. Point blank period. So if you had the credit and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna buy this EV truck, I'm gonna buy this Model 3 personal, not through your business, right? It's gonna be, all right, cool, I can get this right off. They're basically eliminating that. So that's $7,500 on your EV truck, your Tesla Model 3, that you can no longer write off. If you had a used car, $4,000, then you have the $7,500, that's about $11,000 that you can't write off anymore, if you went the EV route. So what's next? 7053. And this is just, again, how policies get written. It's nothing major that you see. And all of these, honestly, even refueling. This is supposed to expire next year on my anniversary, right? It's expiring. No, wait, excuse me. This is expiring next year, not this year. But it was scheduled to expire December 31st. What else do we have? I'm going to go through all of these. This is expiring at the end of this year, which is the termination of energy efficient home improvement credit. That'll be interesting. I'll get to that one next. But really, let me go through all over the place. Let me go 753. Termination of qualified commercial clean vehicle credits. Businesses and fleet operators purchasing electric or alternative fuel vehicles up to $40,000 per vehicle. So I would assume if you have a business, you know, they talk wealth management, you know, buy a car over 6,000 pounds, all other stuff, you know, tax write-off. Essentially, this eliminates tax credits for there. So this would impact, realistically, who does this impact, right? I had to ask perplexity. Your Amazon delivery drivers, your FedEx delivery drivers, your local delivery services. Now this 7053 is not for your average everyday person. These are for your businesses. So when Amazon's coming to buy that, you see the Amazon truck, the fleet, and they're driving by to deliver your packages, understand that the tax credit for those EV Amazon delivery trucks or the FedEx delivery trucks of $40,000 per vehicle is gone, right? For what it is. The commercial EVs are a small but growing segment. Thousands of businesses claim the tax credit in 2023 from what my research has shown me, but the tax credit is eliminated and it's really going to hurt businesses with sustainability goals. Now, from my expertise in the work in the energy sector, I know that a lot of it between Amazon and the rest has essentially been realistically, my bad, Isaiah, hold on. I do read the comments. Isaiah, just reading the bill, that's why you're dogma. No, Isaiah, I'm not. I'm actually reading the bill to help educate people because I'm quite sure out of everything you've read through 4th of July, everything you've read through the last week of this big, beautiful bill passing, nobody has clarified exactly what's in the bill. Everybody's going off Medicare, Medicaid cuts, Social Security cuts, HBCU attacks. There's $60 billion in this bill for HBCU scholarships. Is it enough? No. There's also language regarding parent plus loans in this bill. So what I'm doing is actually taking from my community, my channel, going to read the statutes. So it's not dogma because I work in politics. I understand actually how to find the law and interpret the law for what it is. And I'm not a lawyer. How about that? Right? So what I'm doing is just going through my community, not to say, okay, this is right or wrong. I want to educate people. So maybe somebody in this chat has bought a Chevy Cobalt or a Ford F-150 Lightning, right? They bought an EV and they're used to having that $7,500 tax credit, or they went and bought a used EV, right? And now all of a sudden they went into last year, maybe they bought it before the year ended, right? Or 2023, 2024, whatever, right? They used to have $4,000, that $7,500 tax credit. Now it's gone. How can I at least help educate you on that? So this is only one part of it. So if you think it's dogma, that's fine. Go read 870 pages for yourself. You're expecting a $4,000, $5,000 check back from the IRS and it only comes back to be $600. It's because all the tax credits that you thought you had, they're not there. So I'm not doing this to spread dogma. What I'm doing is to at least edify, educate some people who are here to say, hey, this is actually what's in the damn big, beautiful bill. So kiss my ass. Maybe some clarity. Maybe you decided as an entrepreneur, you know what? They told me to go get a 6,000 pound car so I can write it off. Now all of a sudden you got a 6,000 pound car that's the EV and you can't get that write off anymore. I'm just trying to help some people. So make sure you like and subscribe for more. I appreciate it. Let me read through some more of this chat. Yeah, Daniel, I agree with it. No problem, Thomas. Isaiah, I said the tax credits are hurting EV sales, right? So to clarify that, what I was trying to clarify, if anything, that only 17% of the EV sales market is using mandates on other states and have other states like Iowa, Idaho, and everybody suing them. It kind of goes into that same realm, but at the same time, you're providing tax credits for EVs. Cool. I'm not knocking that. That's it. So there's a part of auto manufacturers, everybody else has their own little niche on what they feel important, but guess what? I'm just clarifying what's in here. So thank you, Elsa, appreciate that. Yeah, then I said people aren't using tax credit based on the information that's there. So not everybody who maybe has the EV has used them. I don't know everybody's tax situation. I'm only replying to Isaiah. This starts in September. No, basically what it's saying here, like the termination of the qualified tax credit here to good time, it's saying that's when it ends. So essentially what happened here is for 7053 for the commercial clean vehicle tax credits, right? Initially, this was until 2032. What this is saying is now by September 30th, 2025, that tax credit ends. So realistically, you may only have 9 months of that tax credit versus the entire year. So that's what it is. No problem. Just trying to read through the chat. No, Isaiah, because you know, I'm just trying to be real. I mean, it's not an attack. I think it's being real because if you're gonna sit here and say I'm pushing dogma, like, no, bro, like I'm just clarifying. So it is what it is. Appreciate you, Al. All right, let's get back to it. So 753, we left out there. So basically, if you have a business, you have a qualified tax credit, you're not going to be able to take that $40,000 that you put on there before as a write-off, right? So that impacts some businesses. Now, how would Jeff Bezos, how would Amazon feel about that? They probably help support it to some extent. But the EV mandate for some people in my work in the energy sector, and I said this before, some of this wasn't just Amazon delivery trucks, right? Some of it was electric forklifts or electric semi-trucks. And then you're forcing this mandate for people to say, okay, we're going to invest in this. We're going to invest in it. Cool, right? Because, sidebar, people complain about the millionaires and billionaires on the Republican side. The millionaires and billionaires on the Democratic side who are going to profit off the clean energy movement. So let's not even act like they're not billionaires controlling all of us as if we're not puppets, right? So essentially, you're pushing this on the people for the manufacturing side, but maybe those EV forklifts and those EV semi trucks weren't working as good as the gas guzzlers, right? The diesel trucks. So that's the issue, right? But we're going to go on. We got to get more chapters to get through. 7504, termination of alternative fuel vehicles. This is amended to my wedding anniversary for next year. That's when it ends. It was supposed to end in 2032. Now, there's throughout. Now, this was for residential, $1,000, $100,000 write-off for commercial. So if you pull up to your Buc-ee's, your Busy Bees, your Shell gas station, your BP gas station, and they have these EV charging stations, 3 or 4, your Wawas, right? They basically had a write-off for these EV charging stations. Now, here's a two-pronged approach. One, and a lot of times when they're doing this construction, a lot of companies weren't actually measuring the grid itself to say, okay, how many EV charging stations can this apartment complex or this gas station take and not hurt the grid? Because we're already on the grid from this facility by itself. Now it's EV. So now, if you have a Tesla, and you put a Tesla or EV charging station in your house, you were used to having $1,000 rebate, $1,000 write-off. That's gone now, right? Now, wait. It's not gone till next June 30th, 2026. So this isn't this year. This is, you get still 2025. You get the entire EV charging station. Also, if you put in your house, you still get that $1,000 write-off. If you put in your business, you still get $100,000 write-off. However, what changes is in July 1st, 2026, it ends. So now if you're making an investment for your business, for your home, you have something to think about and say, okay, if I know this ends, then where are we at? Now, over 50,000 people in 2022, residential and commercial, basically installed charging stations throughout the country. You've seen them everywhere. The issue ends up being the out-of-pocket costs, along with the grid. But who's impacted by this? Homeowners, renters, and businesses installing EV charging stations. So now there will be a lot of businesses who are very pro sustainability, pro the environment, who will now look and say, you know what? I'm not getting the tax benefit for having all these charging stations. Because, you know, in a lot of these places, you may pull up to a Wawa and see 10, 15 charging stations. That may be reduced to 5 in the next 5 to 10 years, unless something comes in and changes it. Now, rural and underserved communities, they have had limited charging access because of the grid. Because if you're in Tennessee, you could be in the northern part of Alabama, you're in Tennessee Valley Authority. If you're in Mississippi, Alabama, you could be in Entergy. In Florida, you could be Duke Energy, FPL, or Next Air Energy, SoCal in California, right? So they're different energy companies, but essentially a lot of these rural areas, even if you're on the grid, they didn't have a lot of charging opportunities because they couldn't afford to put that extensive EV charging stations or a whole plethora of them in the community. So that's that. Let's go on to the next one. 7505, termination of energy efficient home improvement credit. Now I'll tell you this. This ends this year, December 30th, 31st, 2025. It's supposed to go till 2032. So for what you see and what we have here collectively is, how can I say? I had my home built 2021. I don't think we have basically get any of these credits. Because to me, my mindset going into this, I had to add solar, I had to add water pumps, I had to add everything to my house in order to get this. That was my assumption going into it, right? I haven't checked my notes yet. We're gonna get to my notes in a second. But I knew that for a lot of the energy efficient home improvement tax credits, whether the fridge, lighting, whatever, I don't think we qualify because we had a new home. But guess what? A lot of new homeowners out here, and I know my nails are long. I'm gonna cut my nails before the next stream. My apologies, I've been tripping, right? I've been in the zone. Either way, there are a lot of homes who've been built who may not qualify, but they want to. So now you got to, most likely in my mind, I got to go reinvest and put solar on my home. But then here's the other thing, right? And I'm gonna get to clarify just to make sure. Yeah. All right. Cool. So a lot of these energy efficiency improvements, they end up having through these programs called PACE, Performance Assess Clean Energy, right? And what they'll do is, essentially, they can make a lot of these energy efficient improvements to your home and put it on your tax rolls without you having to put out any money. The issue is for a new homeowner, like we have a new build, our house is still settling for what it is, right? There's nothing in this home energy efficiency home improvement credit that we could qualify for because we have a new home. We would only probably get it if we put new everything in our home, but why would we want to put new everything in our home when we have a new house, right? However, if you're in a situation where you're taking maybe your homestead in maybe a duplex, right? Maybe this could be advantageous for you if it's a rental property. But let me get into it real quick. This is a homeowners making energy saving upgrades. So essentially 7505, the termination of energy efficient home improvement credits. Essentially it's for insulation, it's for your heat pumps, it's for your windows. And that was up to a $1,200 tax credit. Now, example I put in, if your family was upgrading your HVAC system and your windows, you could offset the cost. You still have to pay for the HVAC. You still have to pay for the windows, right? But you could offset $3,200 of that cost over several years. Now, the difference is, respectfully, if you did a PACE program, Performance Assess Clean Energy, you could essentially add all that to your home without having to spend $1 because they would add it to your tax roll. So when your value of your home goes up, they essentially say, okay, cool, you went from $400,000 to $450,000. We're not going to add it to get a physical check from you. We're going to add it to your tax rolls. But also, because we add it to your tax rolls and because we add equity in your home, we get first right of refusal. So if you're looking to sell your home, we got to get our money first before the mortgage company or the banks get theirs. And that's been a big issue in certain states and certain localities where these PACE programs, CPACE for commercial, PACE for residential, where these PACE programs are coming in, they're providing the energy efficient credits, right? You may go, okay, cool, I'm gonna write off these $3,200, but you're paying more in taxes. On top of it, when you go to sell your home, you didn't realize that the $30,000, $40,000 upgrade that they made, they're getting all that back up out your equity first. So that's something else. So who does this hurt? 7505 being repealed. Homeowners, especially in older housing. So if you're looking to improve a home, because it's not necessarily for new builds, of course, like I try to really clarify with my story. This is really for older homes where you're maybe looking for a 203K loan or any kind of refurbishment. Maybe you're taking a HELOC out to invest in some property and do something like that. That's where basically where it was from. Contractors and manufacturers will probably feel the blunt of this. Well, anything. But let me get to the chat real quick. 2022. So what's the difference between the before and the new bill? Basically, kids, these were the tax credits. You could take $3,200 off or $1,200 off for these home improvements. Now you can't take any, right? Essentially, when's the implementation date? This is the last year of this tax credit, essentially. So if you add in that, you see hot water boiler or oil furnace, meets or exceeds the 2021 Energy Star efficiency criteria, that's essentially what that was. But let's get into the next statute, because I don't want to take y'all time reading through some of this, because we've had some drop off here, but it's okay. I appreciate y'all still tapping in. People who want to know, I'm gonna hopefully make some content up out of this so we can get some good content more than anything. 7506, termination of the residential clean energy tax credit. Let me actually read through my notes here before I assume what this is about. These are homeowners installing solar panels, geothermal, wind, or battery storage. Now, this kind of goes with the PACE program as well. This would allow you to write off 30% of your project costs. Now, something about solar panels, especially in my urban communities, my black communities, my communities of color, right? If you see the solar panel salesperson come to your house trying to sell it, don't buy it. It's the same thing with the PACE program. See, what happens is, if they come in and put solar panels on your roof, what happens is in maybe 3 to 5 years, you got to start replacing your shingles, right? I live in Florida, so we're prone to hurricanes. Also, your house can be insured, but those solar panels aren't insurable, right? So if they break, you have to fully replace. But more than anything, like the PACE program, these solar panel companies come in and they're taking not only increasing your taxes, but also a fact of increasing your equity, but also the main fact of it, they're getting first dibs on your equity, right? So let's say you bought that house for $350,000. Pandemic happened, all these different things happened. You're up to $450,000 or $100,000 in equity. You're up $450 in value of the house. Cool. Then they come in and say, you know what? I want to be more energy efficient. I want to put solar panels on my home to help lower my light bill. And you'll learn, and most people, you have your light bill, you have electric usage, your water usage, everything else, right? That electric bill dropping off the solar isn't really that much sometimes. Respectfully, you end up saving maybe $20 or $30 a month. Hypothetically speaking, $240 for a year is great. However, it's not what people, I would assume, look for when they switch over to solar. Because, and here's the thing, you could most likely gather more solar energy on the ground than you can your rooftop. But they don't allow you to put solar on the ground because guess what? They want you to have acres in order to do that, because they know that the solar power generated on the ground will be so much more than your roof because the sun shifts and all other stuff. But either way, this is what takes away roughly if you put $20,000 in solar panels on your home, you could basically claim a $6,000 tax credit. And this is essentially eliminated. Now, the biggest thing is equity, of course. It's also the roofing. The unexpected burdensome costs of solar panels that didn't really benefit the 500,000 people who actually claim the credit or put solar panels on their homes. Now, you could look and say, okay, it's great, it's amazing, you're energy efficient. Sometimes it hurts the home sale value. And again, let's say you're up $100,000 in equity. The $20,000 you put in solar panels, that is the first dib. They get solar. Go look into it. Your taxes increase. The value of your home increases, so your mortgage essentially could increase. And at the same time, they get first right of refusal. So this will impact, of course, homeowners seeking energy independence and lower energy bills. Again, your energy is in your water. Your water is different from your energy, so make sure if you're buying solar panels, you're putting them in, you're not getting that tax credit on top of it, it's not really going to benefit you. So let's go to the next one. 7507, determination of energy efficient commercial building deductions. Now, this is the same, expires next year, June 30th, 2026. Anything June 1st next year is termination. So 7507, this is for your building owners, tenants, making qualifying energy efficiency improvements, deducting $5 per square foot. Now, this is essentially for my warehouses, people I talked about earlier. You want to improve your efficiency. The investors have basically said, like, hey, we want more money from this stock, so we're going to invest in this company. If you'd have electric forklifts, put solar panels on the roof, everything, and you have a 40,000 square foot facility, like $5 per square foot. Yes, throw the solar panels on top. Throw the new HVAC. Throw everything. And now all of a sudden they're saying, like, hey, listen, hey, chill. Because the energy efficiency improvements may have not been happening the way we thought they would, right? Now, if you own an office tower, if you are in an office tower that's upgraded or put HVAC systems in a building, if you are a real estate developer, this tax credit is basically hurting you in some aspects, because right now your commercial landlords and tenants would not have an extra write-off for energy efficiency, so they may just raise your rents. It is what it is. 7508, determination of a new energy efficient home credit. Now, this is a home building construction tax credit for high energy efficiency standards in a new home. You get up to $5,000 per home, but for first-time buyers, if you had a Lennar DR Horton home, you know, they probably most likely put a lot of energy efficient stuff in the construction of your home, which is great. This is one of those ones where if you were building or having a green home, smart home, like in Jacksonville, we have a place called E-Town, right? Where a lot of electric, they like clean energy areas, right? This would affect that essentially, right? If you have not just the energy efficient fridge, you're talking about actual, energy efficient everything. Like I've seen some homes, maybe they have the Tesla solar panels, or they're built in with the EV charging station. So that would essentially be it. That's gone too, right? Let's get to the next one. 7509, termination of cost recovery for energy property. Now, businesses could accelerate depreciation of renewable energy property. Think about that. So if you had a solar farm, a wind farm, if you had a facility that was creating or manufacturing batteries, now batteries for your Tesla, for your EV, batteries like Duracell, batteries in general, right? Or for energy efficiency in general, right? Essentially they're taking this out. So this is like Trump was saying earlier in the cabinet meeting about the wind farms that farmers want. They're looking at these wind farms. Now, honestly, I'll be real with you. For someone who's actually worked and negotiated a lot of conversations regarding solar farms, that is a very, very controversial issue, because some people do not want to see solar farms. Some people feel it'll degrade the value. But what happens is, realistically, an energy association company will come in. They may say, you know what, we need to lease this land for 30 years. We'll pay the taxes and we'll help you negotiate selling this energy to the energy providers locally, right? Whether it's community, invest on utility, whatever. So essentially, this is a major tax write-off that people could essentially say, you know what, over the years, we want to make sure that this doesn't happen, that we could write this off. And this is honestly not just in energy. This actually happens in affordable housing, where people will be like, you know what, I want to write off $250,000 a year for the next 15 years. Where can I invest? Oh, there's a new opportunity zone where we can invest some resources, right? And if I keep my money in this opportunity zone for 10 years, I probably get all my investment back, or it's tax-free on any of my earnings, realistically, right? So all that put together, it gets into this whole phase, this whole motion of the scalability for property, really, right? So I may have brain fart in there. I'm reading and trying to catch up. But either way, people are trying to write off their taxes for affordable housing. They're trying to write off, get a tax break for these solar farms, these wind farms, and they would rather have the land used for farm or development. But the other part of it is kind of like we've seen with Alligator Alcatraz. There's an environmental piece to it too, because sometimes the solar farm isn't good for the environment, or nothing can be done in an area because of the soil or whatever. So maybe a solar farm or a wind farm would be the best thing, because nothing commercial or industrialized can be built in certain areas, not just Florida, but across the country. And it happens that way, right? Let's keep going. 7510, right? Through 7515, these are restrictions, phase outs of nuclear, hydrogen, clean electric, and advanced manufacturing. Zero emissions nuclear power production. And this is, there's a major conversation that they have a conversation around AI, but also nuclear rods. Now, you may not know, I'm not going to assume, a nuclear rod basically vertical. Instead of a nuclear plant, they have nuclear rods that could basically power an entire state in one room. Like my whole room could probably power the entire city of Jacksonville plus some, right? But how Lisa asked a question earlier. Basically, this is, I'm gonna go to my notes. This could hurt really utility companies, right? Clean energy industry, advanced manufacturing, in regions where energy transition jobs are very needed. Now, this could be someone like, hey, we need to build a nuclear rod facility for this AI plant in Mississippi or in Indiana or whatever. these could be those tax credits that kind of lead into there. But this is basically for developers of nuclear, hydrogen, or clean energy projects, manufacturers of advanced energy components. Now, to me, this is one of those tax credits, with this section at least, where it'll really maybe delay our input with AI, right? Now, some of this, I know, like clean hydrogen production, they're not for it by 2028. What I read in this is that they're giving us some time to actually be viable with this one, right? Hydrogen production is very new. It's just how do you stop the water from evaporating for the most part, right? Clean electricity production credit. Basically, all of them are gone. So that's your wind and solar. So the tax credit you would have for building out a wind farm or solar farm is essentially gone, which is leads to fewer clean new energy products. Now, I know energy is boring to some folks. We may have lost 300 or 400 people on this whole energy breakdown. It is what it is. I'm gonna get to the chat real quick and then maybe wrap up this one. Let's see. Go full canvas. Anyway, it's if it's possible, living better for the next generation. I agree with you. It would be great to try to save our environment and save our everything for the next generation, but I don't think we're actually focused on that. I hate to say it that way. Does this affect buying batteries for a house? No, John, this is for like your major battery manufacturing company. So they have some in Georgia. One of my former clients, they had built a battery manufacturing plant to where they can charge or build these EV batteries or different things. So it's different. It's not your Duracells. Sorry, not distraction. I live in Switzerland and it's sad to try to understand this. I understand. Hey, Jimmy James, appreciate you. All right, guess 6600. Guess 6600. Appreciate you. Most Germans working the blue collar jobs. Appreciate that. The tax kills you. Yeah, John, people really are doing it for what it is. Content has no real breakdown of effect. Solar works, expectation and reality have to meet. How about don't get solar if you don't have money? Isaiah, I get what you're saying. And Isaiah, I didn't mean to attack you earlier. My apologies if you're still here. I'll say this. Solar works depending on the narrative, right? Honestly. Yes, you shouldn't get solar if you don't have the money, but the way people sell it to you, they make it seem affordable, right? So that's the issue, because honestly, I've had solar panel salesmen come to my house, all the way go through their pitch at the door, give them some water because it's hot as hell outside, it's Florida. And I say, yeah, I'm not doing it because you're going to increase my taxes, you're going to increase this, I got to replace this, I got to replace that, and you're going to increase everything, right? And when I get into it, they're like, yeah, how do you know this? Because most people don't know that. So it's not a fact of people not being able to afford it. What they're sold is, I want to help the environment. I want to help the world. I want to do and they try to sell them solar. And then they don't think to themselves, well, damn, what about my equity? What about my taxes? What about the cost of my house going up and how much I'm going to have to pay in property taxes increasing? Now I say taxes 2 times because depending on what kind of program you do, right? If you're doing a PACE program, maybe it's going on your tax rolls and you're paying for it in your tax rolls, that $20,000 or $30,000 they put in, right? You're not paying that up front. Versus the other one where you're paying a monthly fee for the solar on your home after they install, and you realize like, wait, I'm paying an extra $200 for the solar, but my light bill didn't drop $200, right? So that's the thing. Al, we should get rid of property tax. Al, I need you on the show. We need to have this conversation because you're a former Florida state elected official. We're talking about property taxes, and I know that you'll have a great opinion. I'm gonna text you after this for real. We gotta connect. Hey, Al said he's okay with in and on tax credit. We gotta get my dog Al Jaquette on, man. Oil taxes prohibit use. See, and here's the other thing. You know, I'm gonna wrap up after this. Isaiah, I appreciate you tapping in for real today. The biggest thing with EV charging stations, like I saw somebody put they would charge for them, right? DD, what's up, baby? I still didn't put a schedule out there. My bad for being unprofessional with you, my brother. But the thing is, with EVs, a lot of them are heavier than regular cars. So when you have these EV charging stations, the EV batteries, excuse me, these cars end up being a lot heavier. That's how you can write them off on your business, you know, 6,000 in the weight limit or whatever, right? So what happens is a lot of these EVs, because they don't pay for gas, they don't buy gas, they're not paying into the gas tax, right? But then the weight of the vehicles are destroying the roads from, you know, the weight. That's how you have so many potholes for real. Like, let's be real. So what happens is, even though the EVs are supposed to protect the environment, be cleaner than gas, what hurts the earth is the asphalt you have to put down to replace the road after that EV has fucked up the road, right? Or disposing of that EV battery and all the other things. So even though a lot of people are pushing environmental friendly EV, Green New Deal for whatever it is, a lot of this stuff does not help the environment, which I think are the biggest thing. But collectively, we've been streaming roughly 3 hours here. I had we started great. I had some internet issues with AT&T Fiber. I'm about to cuss the ass out for y'all, because guess what? I don't want to interrupt my stream and my community of people for some damn bad internet. But everybody who tapped in, please, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. I'm gonna try to stream later tonight, but my son, honestly, Tyler, terrible threes, three-nagers, my wife calls it, right? For some odd reason, he's been waking up at like, we put him in bed 8:30, 9 o'clock, sleep training, right? Believe in it. He's been waking up like 11, 1 a.m., 3 a.m. And I'm one of those dads to where I don't want to hear my son cry all night, but I don't want to sit here and like be a tough guy and whatever. I didn't grow up with a sperm donor father in my house. So when I hear my son crying, daddy, it's like, damn, you know, this is something I may have wanted as a child. But either way, my son's sleep pattern is thrown off my schedule. So I haven't been able to stream late night like I want to. So I'm not going to make a promise to y'all to say I'm going to be here later, but I will put a stream up, or at least a scheduled stream for y'all to tap in. So either way, thank y'all for tapping in for President Trump's cabinet meeting. We had to cut that off early, but also everybody who's tapped in overall. My man Al Jaquette, we need to get you on the show. I'm gonna hit you up today. Thank you for everyone who's helped grow this channel from 300 subs to right under 4,100. Oh, actually, my God, y'all are amazing. We went from 3,900 to 4,200 today. We eclipsed the 4,000 mark of subscribers. Very, very appreciative. I love y'all, for real. Thank you. I'm gonna ask for no donations. Just like and subscribe. Maybe when I get to 10,000 subs, I may start asking for donations. But I'm not a beggar. I'm not that kind of guy. But either way, thank you. I'm about to run my little end screen. I don't have an official end screen yet. I'm gonna work on that. I may hire somebody to do it. But thank y'all, right? This is only the first part. You're welcome, John. Of my breakdown of the big beautiful bill. What I want to do is at least have a segment each show where I'm going through and we're actually dissecting this piece, because I feel personally, if I can help educate you, you can help educate someone else. Then we're not all around here just mad at the world and calling racism and politicians bullshit and everything else, right? Whatever. Regardless of it, I'll see y'all later. Thank you again. I'm out. I guess I need an end screen for that instead of a stream starting soon. So I'm gonna work on that too. Thank y'all. I'm out, man.
With us, and like, what was the experience through that process?
I would say it wasn't a single. I think one of my best solo years, about 2022. I got like $1.8 million solo for like 10 different projects, and it ranged between the Omega Lamp, Omega Psi Phi fraternity. We got our first allocation there. I had one allocation for a suicide prevention program, another one for a scholarship for low-income college students, another one for elderly for youth students to essentially teach old people to stop being scammed online so they can understand. Because during the pandemic, everybody was scamming the old folks, right? So they ended up being a different mix there. Also, some money for people that were coming out of prison so that they could transition back into life well, so at least the workforce development part was there. So to me, it was more getting out of the narrative of DeSantis and the nonsense.